also what helped me was hypnotherapy, and that's something that
Yeah,
I'm
tell
an
me a bit about
advocate,
that. What kind of what?
for.
Tell me a bit about the type of hypnotherapy that was, or and that you're still doing.
Uh,
Like, what is the technique?
yeah, well, it's even crazy with with even discussing this, because I'm laughing at myself because it's going back to the same thing. I said about people going to see a therapist and like, hey man, he crazy. It was the same thing about me with being hypnotized. Or I'm thinking, ain't nobody go hypnotize me and then he get all my money and blah blah blah. I'm not doing that. But it's like that story is even crazy because it's like I kind of hit rock bottom at a tour in Japan, and that was in 2019. And it was rough. And I also was not the best with performing. I was going through a lot. And I just was in just small hotel room, dark, drinking. And then I was just like, I can't do this no more. And I knew about this guy because he's famous, and my girlfriend gave me this book from him. His name's Alan Carr. He's like famous for the whole stop smoking,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
smoking book or whatever. Well, he also has like a in-house program where you could go in, and they have like a full list of all kinds of stuff that you could go in for these programs. And then it's like at the end of the program, it's like 30 minutes, of hypnotherapy. So when before I left that tour, I made an appointment to go to one of the Alan Carr centers in London. And I had a gig there. I came back from, Japan. Then I went to London, and I did this, this treatment. I'm calling it treatment, but it's really not like a treatment. It's like a class. He went through so much. But at the end of this whole thing, and it was only for alcohol, but at the end of it, it was like 30 minutes of hypnotherapy. And I'm in there and I'm like, this is not working. I'm like, I'm not under. I'm hearing people in there snoring. I'm like, I'm not under. This ain't working, whatever. And then it's like, I kind of felt myself, like going under or whatever. Then the guy was like, boom, wake up. And I was pissed. So I'm like, I paid all of this. And I'm like, this was the part I was looking for, especially because I challenged myself to even get over going to get hypnotized and all of this stuff. And I was just like, man, this is shit. And I went out that night and I didn't have one drink. And I was in a bar, in a party, didn't have a drink. Ultimate test. The next night, a gig. Prior to that, my rider was, I need the biggest bottle of Jameson you can give me. That was on my rider. It's like, I need that. And I'm in this party. Everything is there. I didn't do anything. And I haven't touched drugs or alcohol. It'll be 3 years, June 14th.
Wow.
The crazy thing was this program that I went to, and then this hypnotherapy, part of it, it was just for alcohol, but it stopped me from everything else. And it was also it's a very intense period after that for some months because, number one, I had to deal and process feelings and emotions that I had been numbing myself from. So some things were so intense. And then as well, having to be in, situations with events or certain people that I had, made a connection with via partying and things like that. And then wondering, is this going to affect me, with my business? Because now I'm a square and I interacted with these people on a certain level. Are they going to think, now I'm going to, snitch or talk shit about them, or how they get down or whatever? Is it going to affect,
Yeah.
my career? So, it was all of this that I had to process. And then it's like, after that, I went through a breakup, and then I went and I really got into, found a great hypnotherapist that I was referred to from a friend in Amsterdam, and he really helped me even more
Wow.
on my healing journey, and for me to as well stop beating myself up about certain things. And it really changed my life, and it made me get healthy, made me appreciate living, made me appreciate life, and to as well, I broke a cycle that I had never done before. I was completely alone, not with, not hopping from relationship to relationship, situationship to situationship, whatever. I was, for the first time in my life, totally alone.
Yeah.
I didn't, I totally abstained from everything,
And
and
you found, and
it
you were
helped
okay
me.
with that. You were okay with that. Like that's what,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
and I found myself even more with, as well, continuing with these, you know hypnotherapy sessions. And then I discovered RTT, which is rapid transitional therapy, and that's like therapy and hypnotherapy on steroids. And it's helped me even more, and it's something that I really, implore people to try, if not just that, some kind of therapy, period.
Yeah.
And to be able to talk and deal with things. But yeah, it's been life changing, and I just I love life. I love living, and on top of everything, I love myself. And that's something that I didn't do. I thought I did,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
didn't. If I really loved myself,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been damn near killing myself, all of this. I mean, I even had a reputation for being a wild party animal because I was just out of fucking control.
Yeah.
Now that I look back, and then as well, it's like what also started that cycle was also I had guilt and shame because I also would be guilty and feel shame when I would think about, or things would get back to me about how I behaved. And I'm supposed to be a professional.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to, carry myself a certain way. And it's just very, very interesting because I was warned about some of these pitfalls and what to look out for in situations. Some years back, wild things were starting to kick up. And then I'm like, I got this. I know. And everything that I was told, I lived through. I experienced it. And I'm like, I get it. And some people can never have that moment of clarity or understanding. And I mean, still, I'm human. I'm not, completely perfect. But now I know I have different coping mechanisms now versus, you know, drugs, alcohol,
Different strategies.
sex.
Mm.
Yeah. So the thing is, as well, it's like I do my best to not judge people, especially, you know, with people in this industry or whatever. But I also do my best to tell people. That's why I feel like I need to share my story or some of my experiences so it can help people. And then I can do the same thing that that person forewarned me about, but as well to share these experiences so people can understand that, you're not alone, but there are some pitfalls to this. And you have to be careful because the beast could chew you up and spit you out, and then they on to the next thing, so you have to also take into consideration how important rest is. Because especially with this traveling and all that as an artist, it has an effect on you more than you know, the lack of sleep. And it really affects your mental health more than you know. And then when you add in chemicals and everything else, oh, it's gone. When the crash comes, it's gonna come. And it can either be mentally or physically, or if not both. So it's a very risky, risky business to be in if,
The
especially if you
self-care,
have
the
an
self-care is
addictive
not there.
personality. Yeah. Because self-care is very, very important. And you have to learn that. And some people learn it a hard way and some people already know it. But that's why I don't have a problem sharing, my experiences or, being transparent, because for so long I wore a mask or I wasn't transparent. And it's like I just want to help people,
Yeah.
and I understand it, from a different perspective. And because I've been made aware of of this, and it's from personal experience, it's just something that I want to do to help people. So it's like one thing that I'm planning to do is to become a coach, and I want to create something that will help artists.
Yeah.
And because as well, the difference is sometimes if you can speak to a therapist, coach, or whatever. Sometimes they kind of going off a script or textbook, or they have a textbook response to certain things, or a textbook fix or whatever. And I guess I can understand it from a different perspective because I lived it and I've been in it. So I can understand some things that some professionals may not be able to understand, especially when you're dealing with, artists and creatives. We already, our minds and brains operate very differently, to begin with. And, sometimes people, because I know I would do it at a time as well. You think, oh, I got to take something to get creative or to feel this way, or get like that. And you don't. You really don't. As well as I thought I would be different, because I'm not the wild, crazy guy, drunk, wild, crazy guy. And guess what? I'm still that crazy guy. I'm just not drunk and fucked up.
And
that's the difference.
Yeah. I really appreciate this, and it is a big part of why I've got this podcast, because it's these kind of conversations that bring more awareness to this subject matter. This, and there are so many different modalities out there that people are using to get them into that healing journey, and everyone's got different stories. And again, like one of the things that that I also in my own work too now is to, I feel like this kind of conversation, or having a healthy lifestyle in the music business, and particularly dance music as well, is like, I want to remove that. It seems there is a big shift in people becoming more and more comfortable about living healthy lifestyles in music.
Yes.
Whereas it seems like that wasn't accepted before, and so
yes.